Hello, everyone. This is Sam Houston in the Divide. We're here at Consensus 2023. I'm here with Jesse. We're going to be talking about security of blockchain, security of your tokens, what you should be looking out for. Jesse's going to give us some heads up about what's going on and what to identify in your blockchain with your crypto.
For sure. So I work at Certik. We're the leading blockchain security company. The bulk of our business is smart contract auditing, which is the review of all the lines of code in a project, which obviously rely on smart contracts. All Web3 projects do. So auditing is really an essential step. You need the code reviewed. You need to be able to identify vulnerabilities that could lead to the loss of your funds, the malfunctioning of the protocol in general. Auditing, yeah, really essential. It's not all there is, and an audit doesn't necessarily mean that a project is secure. They need to obviously address all the issues that the auditors find. So you need auditing, you need on-chain monitoring, you need token analytics, you need all these products that we offer to really both do your own due diligence and understand how the project that you're getting involved with, how secure it is, because you don't want to be putting your tokens somewhere they're not safe.
Okay. Do you think this is something that's probably, I don't know if it's above your pay grade or it's kind of Monday morning quarterbacking?
Yep.
But do you think FTX, if we were able to see the audit trail, do you think that we would have been able to understand that something was wrong with the company beforehand?
I think that the fact that FTX was a centralized exchange made its fraud possible. If it was a decentralized exchange, that wouldn't have been possible. You would have been able to see that your funds were being taken out of where they were meant to be and spent on apartments in the Bahamas and all those sorts of things. So I think it was the centralization of FTX that led to its ability to do that fraud that it ultimately pulled off.
Okay.
So decentralization really wins out there. That's the benefit of decentralization and transparency. You get to see, like, when you trade on a decentralized exchange, no one else is taking custody of your tokens. So they're just being swapped on the blockchain.
So he's actually advocating against CBDCs, central bank digital currency, because he understands when somebody centralized has control of your money, they get to make the final decisions, and sometimes they don't make decisions in your best interest. I didn't put words in, Justin. I'm just translating here. So,
on the topic of CBDCs, I think it's an interesting one. I think technologically they're very interesting. I think politically there are a whole lot of questions that come into play, and I think there is a strong degree of centralized control over money, like not over cash. Cash is a decentralized, a physical $20 note is a decentralized instrument.
It's not decentralized anymore because they get to print it.
Sure, that's true.
So if you have that much control to print something, that means you can devalue and debase it and just make up whatever rules you want.
That's true. That's true.
So,
I think the really sort of the things we need to think about with CBDCs are like the level of control that the government or the issuer, which is a government or a central bank, will have over how you spend your money, when you spend your money, who you spend your money with.
Yeah. But that's the whole idea. The money is supposed to be the people's money. It's not the government's money. They just supposed to be able to do what we vote them in for, to do the will of the people. But it gets mixed up when it's centralized because they get to figure out we do it and it's in the best interest of the people, and that's what they say. But that's not the reality. It's the best interest of their party and their ideas and agenda for them to get. But anyway, this is not political. This is not political.
I'm not speaking on behalf of my company. I'm speaking out of my interest.
Yes, this is security. This is what blockchain was invented for. This is what Satoshi, this the whole idea is decentralization. It's because what happens when something is out of your control, you can only react to it. But in blockchain, you don't have to react. You can be proactive. Take your money and do it and protect it yourself. Self-custody. When somebody's auditing, what are some of the things if somebody's looking to get into a company, what are some of the metrics you look at as far as in the audit trail?
Not sure I understand the question.
So if somebody's like, I want to work with a cryptocurrency or a token,
Yeah.
And let me see the white page and let me see the auditing. What are some of the metrics when I'm looking that I need to pay attention to?
For sure. So Certik makes all our audit reports publicly available on our website, so you can go and look at any project's audit report. So what you want to look for there are, we rank issues by like critical error, critical vulnerability, major, medium, minor, informational. So you really want to make sure that the critical ones have been addressed. You can't just leave a critical error or vulnerability unresolved. And we show whether or not they've been resolved, acknowledged, completely remediated. So centralization privileges are one thing that you really do want to watch out for. You don't want the owner of the protocol having complete control over everything. You want it to be a decentralized protocol that works the way it's intended to, not the way that the developer chooses to down the line. So you want to watch out for centralization. You want to watch out for other sort of more technical attacks, re-entrancy, bots, things like that would allow a hacker. So you want to distinguish between external attacks, a hacker attacking a protocol, and internal attacks where someone who has control over the protocol is abusing that privilege for profit. And we make those things pretty clear in our audit reports.
Okay. So, what's a better way as far as this decentralization? What do you figure when you audit like something like a DAO?
That's a good question. So yeah, obviously auditing a DAO is going to be different from auditing a liquidity protocol or something like that. So would have to speak to one of our expert auditors to answer that question fully. But with a DAO, you want to understand the voting logic, like make sure that it does what it says it's doing. I guess that's what it boils down to. Is the good thing about smart contracts is you can read them if you know what you're doing. You can read them and you can see, yes, this is doing what it says it's doing, or no, it's actually doing something else, and that's a problem. So with a DAO, you just want to make sure that the voting system works as intended, that the DAO has the ability to propose new ideas, to vote on them, to implement them as well. And then you can look at security features like a time lock. So maybe if the DAO passes something that you don't agree with, you have time to withdraw your tokens before that goes into effect. So yeah, all those things are facets of auditing a DAO.
So I like what Jesse said. This is one of the things that I think is hard for people to grasp, is that you are in control of your money. So a lot of times if you see something, or you sometimes have to take time into understanding what you put in, because they may make a decision you don't agree with, but you always have the chance to pull your tokens when you don't agree with something. That's power. And when you have that power, that puts the people in power, it makes them cautious, because you can leave if they're doing things that's disagreeable to the many. So, last thing, how is AI going to be a competition to you?
It's a good question. It's a big question. I think a lot of people are still figuring out how AI is going to impact all of our jobs. So we've actually put some blog posts out, some research about whether or not you can use ChatGPT to do smart contract audits. And the answer is you can to a degree, but it's not as good as a human. It's like, it will do it, but it will get things wrong, it will miss things. It will pick up on some things, which is impressive for an AI tool, but it's not there yet. And I think that a combination of AI is a tool, and I think it's a tool that needs to be wielded by humans. And that's the way that it doesn't take over, it's a complement to our sort of natural abilities. People might be better at understanding the overall logic of something and how it fits into a blockchain network, that sort of thing. Sort of the big picture ideas, whereas the AI might be better at like picking out the individual errors, or maybe it's the other way around. I think we still have to figure it out. It's still extremely early days. We're about 6 months into ChatGPT, and there's still a lot to figure out.
So you heard it from here. Jesse said it first. Skynet is about 10 years away. No, he didn't say that. Pay attention to what's going on in your blockchain. Pay attention to the security. Make these decisions seriously. Blockchain is open source. Make use of that. And I'm thanking Jesse. Thank you for coming in, sharing something with us. And hopefully you go on and you find Citrix. If you're a developer, if you're starting something, It's a good company to go with. Start learning something. Everybody stay safe. All right.